Good afternoon. My name is Barry Kopulos, your host for this show, and I'm going to share my story on a journey of life through almost 60 years of life experiences. And it all starts from me coming from a small farming community in Alberta, where I went to school and graduated from honors in Calgary, Alberta. I moved to Winnipeg in 1984, and I got employed by my uncle in computer programming. Unfortunately, his company went bankrupt, so I moved on to other jobs. Some of the jobs I've done, and I've learned a lot over the years, have been working in call centers where I tested my problem solving capabilities to solve people's problems that they're having with computers or the internet. I was very successful with the company. I was with there 3 years, and we were one of the largest call center companies in Canada solving Canadian and American customers' internet problems. From there, I moved on to work for a company to do opinion and telephone surveys, where again, I learned a lot about people and talking to people on the phone and conducting surveys of 10 minutes to 30 minutes in length to a variety of people. I took these kind of jobs because I do enjoy interacting with the public. I like to learn about them, and they possibly like to learn about the company I work for and the type of question that we ask. We can learn about each other. I've been in this field for about 10 years or so. It wasn't until the early 90s that I had the opportunity. A door opened for me, and they always say when a door opens for you, don't close it, go through the door. And it was an opportunity to work at a TV station doing a live talk show in Winnipeg, Canada. You have to realize at the time, I had no experience whatsoever in broadcasting, writing scripts for TV, or anything like that. But I said to the person, as long as you're willing to coach me and I'm willing to learn, I will try this out. So when it came to the first day, they basically told me how to fill out the form and everything. They coached me what kind of a set to put together. And when the camera went live with the red light on the camera, I did not freeze, unlike some people might think I would freeze. I was a natural at it, and I basically got off the mark and I welcomed people to my radio talk show. Now, my radio talk show, the first topic I produced was basically a spinoff of a friendship club that I had created several months earlier called Friends of Seekers. And I decided that we would extend the club to showcase activities that we do and the people that we've met on the TV every week. So I actually produced a half-hour talk show, both recorded on tape and live, over the next several months. And we did activities, and I recorded the activities and brought them back to the station, to the program. And the program was called In Search of Friends. This program was not a dating club, neither was the club itself. It was a basic club to introduce new arrivals to our city of Winnipeg so that they can interact and make new friendships. And I'm going to have to tell you something. At one point, we had about 75 members. And the nice thing about the club that I ran is that three couples actually got engaged and got married. And they're today, this day, they're actually still married. And so I felt that the club was very successful in what I did because those people thanked me for introducing them to each other. And they just went basically on activities. Now, after that club kind of went its course, somebody said, why don't you then spin off the program into a computer club? And I did. I founded a computer club. I did the same thing. I basically took some of the events that we did, recorded them, announced upcoming other computer club events on my show, and I named this TV show all about computers. So every week, I basically took a computer topic, brought special guests in to talk about various technology in the computers. You have to realize that in the 1990s, there was not a lot of opportunities out there to learn about computers. Nowadays, with the internet, it is more possible to learn about computers than back in the 90s. So there was a lot of computer clubs around, and I covered computer clubs on platforms such as Amiga, Atari, Commodore 64, a whole variety of computers. And I actually had very special guests on every week. Some of the special guests I had on my talk show were actually executives with Microsoft Canada. Microsoft Corporation is one of the biggest software corporations in the world. I've never met Bill Gates, but I'm a big fan of Bill Gates and what he does with his new foundation with Melinda Gates, that they do a lot of philanthropy work in third world countries. And so I'm a big fan of Microsoft. So I actually did demonstrate a lot of Microsoft products on the show and talk to people about that. Now, the program ran about 7 years, and one of the special programs I actually got the privilege of producing was a fellow that came in from California in the United States, and he brought in a very impressive 3D hologram virtual reality exhibit. And I was actually able to go out to his place at a local fair we called the W.O.R.K.S. It's an annual festival that happens every year. And I was able to interview him on camera to explain about these 3D holograms I was looking at. So that was a special show that I did. And because it was such an expansive topic on 3D TVs, holograms, and virtuality, I actually put it in 2 parts. And I got to actually interview a person that taught on the TV a little mini course on how to create a hologram using sand. And this show was recorded. It is now on a YouTube channel, which I have out there. And the show on virtuality, nowadays, virtuality is now coming back in the scenes. But in those days, the helmets were very big. And I actually got to interview somebody about virtuality on my show. So I wanted always to think outside the box, not to do a simple radio talk show or TV talk show about computers, but I wanted to think outside the box and what other computer technology is happening out there. And I actually had a fellow that got wind of my TV show, and he actually decided to come along and be the camera operator and edit and give me a good intro and extra and opening and the closing of the credits of my TV show. Now, to this day, I actually have a lot of fans out there because when you're on TV, people see you every day, see your face, hear you talk. They might phone in because I had a phone in segment on my talk show and call and ask questions. Now, eventually the show wound down because they canceled all the shows and I had a farewell show. But I got to tell you something. When the show got almost canceled, I was picked up on the CBC TV network, to my surprise, that they wanted to interview me and say, can we come to your house? I understand you're doing a TV talk show and you're about to get canceled and you have to quit the show. I said, yes, unfortunately, they're shutting all the shows down and I have to quit. So they actually came over to my house. They interviewed me and they got the firsthand emotions, how I felt about my TV show was being canceled, because that was a passion hobby thing for me. Now you have to realize that this is called community cable broadcasting in those days, and anybody that stepped forward was a volunteer broadcaster, and all the work was volunteer based. But I did learn a lot about TV production and how it all gets put together. Now I got to tell you something else. Because of me being on TV every week for over 7 years and doing a half-hour talk show live or taped, another fellow that happened to be watching my show said that I have a project for you to do, and I would like you to meet me and discuss the project. I said, what is it? He said, I think you're going to love it. It turned out that this fellow, the president of a computer company in the city, had bought $10,000 worth of airtime on a major talk radio station in Winnipeg. He says, I got a 1 hour live spot I don't know how to produce radio. I do deal in computers. You know how to deal in computer talk shows because I watch your talk shows for years. I would like you to produce a 1 hour live radio talk show for me. I said, really? I said, again, I've never done radio before. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'll give it a shot. So again, I had to write the radio script this time, not a TV script. And I had to book guests. I had the full control of the show. And another fellow named Cam Clark was a moderator of the show. He's very well known in Winnipeg now. He works at another radio station still in our province. He did the moderating. I actually did all the scripting of the radio show. I actually allowed breaks for commercials or to advertise his computer company on the air. And I actually brought in some, again, major speakers, including Microsoft Canada again, with people in special divisions, the productivity division of software products, and they came on the air. Now, this program ran for about a year, and around Christmas time, I decided, okay, I got to have a big bang of a show. What can I do around Christmas time? I got the idea. I am going to have a big giveaway on the air. So I contacted a lot of computer companies, and I got a great big box, huge box of Microsoft. They sent me so much stuff to give away. It was incredible because you have to realize when you're on the radio or TV, that commands a lot of weight. If you say that I'm the producer of a radio talk show or TV talk show, I would like to demonstrate your product. I'd like to review it. I'd like to demo it on air. Could you send me a review copy? They're more than happy to. So I had a lot of companies, once I announced to them in a media press release about my radio talk show and TV talk show, I got a lot of people sending me stuff, both software and hardware products. So eventually that show ended, and I was happy to do it. I actually did record on tape as I did video cassette tapes, which are basically defunct now. And I did that for a year, and then I went back to working at different jobs. And then I decided that I would try the world of films. Again, I don't have any experience whatsoever in films. I happened to see an ad one day. It said, wanted extras for a TV series. Call this number or email this address. I called the number, and apparently it was the wrong phone number. And I said, oh boy, what do I do now? So I actually called the publisher of the ad, and I said, look, I'm trying to contact this ad. There seemed to be a mistake in the phone number. They eventually gave me the correct phone number, and I called them. I said, look, I saw your ad. You're looking for extras in a TV series. I'm interested. I don't have any experience, but I'm interested in learning about what's involved in being in a TV series. It turned out that it was a program called Disasters of the Century for a major specialty channel in Canada called History Television. It's a major specialty channel in Canada. And they were going to reenact a real air disaster that happened in December, I believe, of 1984, way back when it was a real air crash. And they wanted to reenact that what happened in the air disaster. And it was a very hot summer day, and it was supposed to be in December scene. And they said, Barry, we got a character name for you. I said, really? They said, yeah, you're Ricky Campbell. That's your character. You're coming back from a jazz gig in California. You're flying on this plane, going over the Dryden airspace, and the plane crashes into some trees. And a lot of people get injured. But in this scenario, what's going to happen with you is you are going to be a hero. I mean, really, I'm going to be a hero. They said, yes, because sitting next to you is a pregnant woman and you have to save her. I said, wow, really? They said, yes. And so they reenacted the air crash where they put records down on me. Luckily, the cameraman slash director, he coached us all that were passengers in this hull of a jet. It was an Air Canada jet, retired, and they used this without any wings, just the hull of the jet, to do the scene. And at one point he said, "You're not injured enough. You don't look injured. And this is heavy wreckage that fell on you. So you have to pretend it's very heavy and you have to push it off and push off the lady too." So they coached me on that. And it turned out that I got 30 seconds of airtime, people actually seeing me in my outfit playing Ricky Campbell on the disaster of the century on History Television. Lots of people said, "Barry, I saw you on TV. I saw you 30 seconds on the disaster of the century with the air disaster in Dryden, Ontario." I said, "Wow." So that got me to get the film bug, because it means you want to act more in movies and you have a really desire and passion to do more movie work. So then I looked around for more work, and I decided I would keep my eyes on ads on TV or in the newspapers for more work. So I have worked currently in 18 films. I've been on TV, feature films, TV series, a whole bunch of work. On one of the projects I worked on, I actually even went into a street alley one time and said to the person, because you always have to remember, if you want to work in the industry, you got to ask questions. And the question I asked, I said, "How do I get to do the job you're doing?" I walked to this guy with a microphone on and a radio on him. I said, "I would like to do what you're doing. How do I get to do that?" He said, "I'm going to give you a phone number. On this such and such a day, you call this number and the guy will talk to you about what your experience is and what your interest is." And so I did. So on the Friday of that week, I phoned a fellow named Johnny Zabadiak, and I said, "I got the name from a guy that was working on the set on Ellis Avenue, and he told me to call you." I said, "I'm interested in doing what he does. What is his job title?" He said, "He's a production assistant." I said, "I want to do that work too." He then said, "Show up at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning and you'll be hired." I said, "Really?" I said, "I'll be there." I said, "You tell me the location where I'm going and I'll be there." So I arrived before 6 a.m. at the legislative building. They then directed me into an area where to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork, contracts to sign. I didn't really read all that stuff because it's a lot of standard stuff. I said, "I just want to work in films." And so I signed everything. And after it was all done, he said, "You are now a production assistant. You're going to assist the director, the crew on the line, whatever they need done. You're going to assist them." So it turns out that I was working now 16-hour days as a production assistant, and I had to work all around the city on different location shoots. At one point, I had to bring a chair to the director of the film. The film was called Elijah, about Elijah Harper. That was a very prominent figure in Canada. He actually had something to do with the Constitution, and the story was about him. Eventually, it aired on CBC television, and I had to work 4 days, 16-hour long days with that job. Now, because I now have experience working on a crew and have a little bit of experience working as background extra, I decided that I think I need to set up a course, because more people might want to do what I do. Is I want to work in movies as a background extra. I want to work on a crew and do what you did. And so I created a course. I said, I'm going to teach a class and invite people to come down and write down my experiences and what's required, what the conditions are, what the expectations of you, and when you're going to receive back. And I conducted a course. I had about 50 people come to my course. It was called How to Be a Background Extra, How to Work on a Film Crew. It turns out that, again, I sent out press releases to the media. I said, "Look, I am now teaching a course in Winnipeg. If anybody wants to be a background extra, they can sign up for my course and show up." And what happened is I got a standing room only crowd of people come to my course. I said, "Wow." And then it turned out that two media people showed up, Global TV and CTV. And I thought, wow, I've actually got media here. One of them was Lisa Best with Global TV. And she asked the question. She said, "Barry, why are all these people here?" I said, "Lisa, They all want to learn how to be an extra and what's required and what they're going to get in return to be in a movie production or a TV series. And then she turned around and interviewed some of the people that attended. Now, it was a very successful course, and some of these people might went on to work as a background extra because I gave handouts in the course, resources where they can go, websites and go companies they can contact to be signed up as an extra. So the second course that I did, and I contacted a fellow, I said, you are a crew worker. I am doing a crew course to teach people if they want to work on a production crew, here's all you need to know in 2 hours or so. And I charge a little bit more money for that because the pay is more higher. I didn't tell you what I was paid, but I will share that with you. So in this course, I put out ads all over the place. I did announce to the media again, and I brought this special fellow and I said, I want you to come because I am doing a course on production crew work. And I'm going to teach people the job titles they can work on if they want to work on film projects. Here's all the titles of positions you could work at. And here's what we're going to cover. And so again, people turned up in my crew course this time, and they had backgrounds in audio, lighting, sound, costume design. I said, holy smokes, these people already got pre-qualified talent and skill sets. And when the course ended, my fellow that I brought in, Matthew Shimanonsky, was astounded. He said, Barry, I couldn't believe it that every one of the people here already has skill sets and all the talent I would need to hire them to work for me. And he was very impressed. I said, well, I didn't just have people drop off the street. It might have been the way I worded my ad that I said, you want to work on a film crew or a production of a TV show and you want to do some work like that, come to my workshop because I'm going to teach you all that stuff. Again, I had handouts there. People could ask questions. I even had a little quiz I gave, to say, okay, what does a grip do? I explained it in the class because does anybody have the answer? Or what does a gaffer do? Or what does a PA do? These are acronyms you're going to hear on set. So you need to know that these acronyms, grip, gaffer, PA, director, producer, all these things you're going to hear on set. And if somebody says, oh, go see the gaffer, you'll know what it means. Or go see the grip, you're going to know what it means. So I gave it a little bit of a quiz. And again, I gave some prizes out. So people felt, wow, this guy really has a knack for teaching. He's actually worked in the industry, both on crew side and back on extra side, and he really knows his stuff. So over the years, when I applied to different productions, I was hired right away. The most prominent one that I was featured in was a movie called Capote, and I was happy that it won an Oscar award. And unfortunately, the main character and the fellow that played both Capote passed away. But I was actually in the Walker Theater, and I saw him in the far on stage there. But I was in that movie. And another movie I was very proud to be in was a movie called Strike, Mike's Bloody Saturday Walking Tour, because they hired me to play a prominent editor of a major newspaper in Canada called the Winnipeg Free Press. It's a very big newspaper. And we went back in the 1930s. And again, they said, Barry, I got the perfect role for you. We need an editor, and you're our guy. I said, again, I've never been an editor before. They said, don't worry. We're going to coach you. Whatever you need to do or whatever, we're going to coach you to be an editor. You're a major role in this production. And so they had me play an editor, writing letters, actually using a fountain pen, because don't forget this 1930, and I had to get a piece of paper, and originally I was scribbling on the paper that the director said, stop, cut, don't scribble. I want you to actually write a letter back to the readers that sent you a letter, and I want you to reply back to them and say, oh, okay, I didn't realize that. So they had to coach me. Again, I didn't know what to do, but coaches are good because they will coach you on set, director, whoever is doing the production. So they did another take two, and again, I wrote the letter properly. Now, it turned out that they put a wig on me, a vest on me, and I looked like an editor. I was playing John W. Defoe, that's the name, of the editor of the Winnipeg Free Press in 1930s. And so with that production, that movie was called, actually it was called The Paper Nazis, not Strike, pardon me. It was called The Paper Nazis. And that production aired on a major TV network in Manitoba called MTS TV Winnipeg On Demand. I said, wow, that's a major specialty network because it's all about Winnipeg made movies or Manitoba made movies, and people make documentaries, whatever. They license it to MTS. And I even got a copy of the entire movie from the director because he was very happy. Andrew Wall was his name. And he's very happy that I could pull the role off. So then I started talking to people out and about and said, do you realize there was a major movie called The Paper Nazis? It was about a Nazi movement that happened in Winnipeg, Canada. I'm from Alberta, so I didn't know about a Nazi movement here. And a lot of people that were involved in the production participated in the production. So that was the movie project. Whenever I talk to people, either in the media or whatever, I mentioned a few key movies that I was in. I mentioned one about Mike's Bloody Saturday. That was a documentary, but again, it aired on MTS TV as well as the Paper Nazis did. So I have a very good knack for connecting with projects that's going to get me visibility. And it did give me visibility because every time they show that Paper Nazis, they will see, oh, who's that guy with the wig on and a vest? Gee, that's Barry Kopulos. I know that guy. And then who is that guy that's trying to push over the streetcar in the Mike's Bloody Saturday walking tour? And again, that's Barry Kopulos. Now, the guy that did this Mike's Bloody Saturday walking tour, he actually did a musical play called Rainbow Stage Strike. We have a place called Rainbow Stage that does musical plays in our city. He decided after the play that he would actually create a 10-minute, what's called proof of concept film to see if there's any interest to make it into a full 90-minute Hollywood production movie. And I got to tell you something, he has now raised $10 million over several years after he showed a standing room only crowd at a local place in Winnipeg called the Cube or Old Market Square, showing that production. And I said, Danny, he's the director of the film. I said, if you need any help getting background extras, I will put the word out, as I have done. Because every time I talk to somebody, said, you want to be a background extra? There's a guy that's shooting a $10 million production in our city. Now, by Hollywood standards, that's not a lot of money. But by Winnipeg standards, that's quite a bit of money because it took him a long time to raise that amount of funds. And I got to tell you something else. He actually found a leading lady from London, England, I forget what her name is, to play the leading lady role in this film production called Strike. And he also found two leading men, one Alan Doyle of a band in Canada, East Coast, called Great Big Sea, and another guy from the Bare Naked Ladies music group called Stephen Page. He signed them, don't know how much he paid them, but they are going to be signed as the two leading men. He said, wow, I know who these people are. I want to really work on the production. So he was supposed to shoot it this summer. I haven't had any word if he's going to still shoot it or not, but I'm still in touch with him. And I'm spreading the word around that if you want to be an extra, that's 900 people are required in a major Canadian film production. It may end up on the big screen at Cineplex or the big Hollywood screens in our country. You can participate in that. So after that is all done, I found out that a company called Shaw Cable Systems had reinvented what video on cable did back in the 90s when I was doing my community TV show. So I got wind of this, and they were holding workshops. They said, if you want to be on TV, come to the workshop and we'll teach you all you need about TV. Well, I would be on TV before. So I showed up to the workshop and I saw a lot of people interested to be on TV, including me. I want to get back on TV. I was already on TV. And so I took a few workshops there, decided that, geez, I have the expertise and the knowledge to actually go out and create an organization that can get people to work on a crew or be in a production a TV show or whatever that these guys are doing. At one point, I actually met with the manager and I said, look, I see you guys are trying to recruit people to be on TV who or get volunteer experience or be participant in a TV show, whatever, talk show. But I tell you what, I've actually created an organization and I've actually put an ad out on the internet and I've recruited some very interesting people that want to work in my organization. So back in the 2000 era, I actually put an ad on Kijiji said wanted. I'm looking for people to work on a crew to help produce content for TV or YouTube or different mediums like that. I actually got 5,000 responses from people around the world, including India, Pakistan, Japan, China, London, England, USA, Canada, that said, I saw your ad and I would like to be part of your organization. I just graduated from Vancouver Film School. I just graduated from a major school in Toronto. I just graduated from a school in Winnipeg or USA, New York Film Academy, or wherever they're from. I worked at a TV network in the Philippines for 8 years. I've got a lot of experience. I'd like to connect up with you. And so I was astounded that just by putting an ad on Kijiji, I got so much talent. And when I talked with the manager of Shaw, they were getting kind of idiotic people that said, oh, I want to put a Shania Twain video on community television. He said, well, don't they know that you can't put a Shania Twain video on community cable because that's a copyrighted music CD or a video, and she's a well-known star. You have to ask permission, pay lots of money in royalties to her to do that. And he was getting all kinds of people with the wrong idea that they can just put anything on air. I said, well, I know that because I know all the ins and outs of what can go on community cable television versus commercial television. I've actually took a lot of workshop in that area. So he was astounded again that I was finding quality people with very strong skill sets and to operate a camera, do sound editing, set design, all that kind of stuff. And he was getting all these idiotic people approaching him that want to work on a TV show or be part of a TV production. So from that point on, I launched an organization called the Manitoba Multimedia Foundation. And I said, it has to be like this because I am going to go out and make myself visible in the world of events. And I'm going to say, I have an organization and we've got very skilled people and we would like to cover your event. I got my own equipment. I went and bought $1,000 camcorder, 1080p high definition, very good quality camera with microphones and all that kind of stuff. And I brought my crew in that could do editing and all that stuff. And we could now go out and say, oh, we're with the Manitoba Multimedia Foundation. We would like to cover your event. And they said, sure. Okay, the event starts tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Could you show up? And I got to tell you something. When you create an organization, such as I did with mine, Manitoba Multimedia Foundation, and you have a website and you have a business card and you start giving it out, it shows credibility. Because I'm going to tell you something, throughout the 4 years, I've actually ran this organization. I'm the president and executive producer of the Manitoba Multimedia Foundation. I have actually connected with powerful organizations such as Disney Canada. I actually contacted Disney Canada. I said, you're having an event in Winnipeg and you're doing a new Winnie the Pooh movie. It's a different takeoff of Winnie the Pooh, and you're having a children's event. Is there any chance I can come down to shoot the children doing activities around Winnie the Pooh? And I did this on a late Friday night. And I thought, well, I think I sent an email off to an email address that I had. So the next day I woke up, I got a voicemail on my phone that said, I'm the marketing director for Disney Canada. If you'd like to show up at Assiniboine Park at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, yes, you can meet me and you can film the kids doing different activities. And again, I know about video releases and all that stuff, and get the parents' permission before you shoot their kids. I showed up. There was other media there too, not just only me, but I explained to my associate that you realize that we are in an event with a marketing director of Disney Canada here. He sees me. I got to meet him. I gave my business card. I still have his email address. So the whole point of this story is I was able to connect with Disney Canada, was then connect with Disney USA. So that's what happens when you take your passion and you follow through with it and you say, look at, even though if I don't have an experience and I'm willing to just step outside my comfort zone or think outside the box, as I've always done over the years, ever since I was on TV in the early days, I have done amazing things. To date, our organization has actually shot over 90 video projects. Recently, I covered the 2-week event of a world festival event called Folklorama out in the world. Maybe you've heard of our event. It attracts 250,000 visitors in the 2 weeks, plus to attend about 45 to 50 pavilions. I was able to get a media access pass, just like the regular media gets, to go anywhere and interview anybody I want, including the performers that might come from overseas. So, and when I show people that I have access to media passes to get us into different events, they say, well, how did you get that? I said, just ask for it. I'll give you another example, is where I was able to pull strings. And it was amazing that this fellow from the Philippines, he didn't give me the whole story about wanting to do a videotaping of a special lady. I don't know if the world audience knows Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is a very major personality of a song person that sings songs. Lady Gaga. She always dresses up in crazy hair, crazy outfits. It turns out that a lady named Maria Aragon in the city made a little cute video called Born This Way. She sang the song, put it on YouTube, and all of a sudden Lady Gaga sings it. And the next thing you know, she's on Ellen DeGeneres. And then next thing you know, she's on the stage with Lady Gaga in Toronto. And she's now a world sensation, 12-year-old girl that just created a song called Born This Way, singing her song on her piano. So this fellow named Manny said, I would like to go film Maria Aragon singing the song Born This Way before a baseball game. I said, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go for it. We arrived at the baseball park, and Manny didn't give me the whole story on what he wanted to do, because I thought he might just want to film from the stand. He said, no, I want to be on the actual field itself where she is up on the stands, and I want to shoot her singing the song. And so when we arrived there at the baseball park, it turned out that they said, oh, we don't know who you are. You're not accredited to come onto the field. So you'll have to go see the media communications manager and talk it over with him. So I went to the communications manager and said, look, my name is Barry Kopulos. I run a professional organization. I have a fellow with 8 years of broadcast experience. He's got all his broadcasting equipment out there, his camera. He knows the Aragon family very well, and he wants to shoot a video, shoot on camera rather. Maria Aragon is going to sing Born This Way just before your baseball game starts. So this guy doesn't know who I am, but it turns out that when I did my radio talk show, the person that was on after my talk show was finished was none other than that was Sam Cates, which used to own, I don't think he owns anymore, the Gold Eyes baseball team. I say to this guy, I produce content for Shaw TV, and we have a professional crew outside that would like to take a few minutes to shoot the video and be gone. So this guy says, well, because you didn't send me a letter in advance, I say, I apologize. I didn't know I had to send a letter in advance to you. He said, yes, all approved media that are accredited that want to go in a special non-public area have to get accredited. I said, I'll make a note of that. Next time I must send a letter to you if I want to go in the field and shoot some video, whatever activities are on there, I got to send a letter to you. So he said, because you didn't send me a letter in advance and you don't have a badge or no accreditation, I'm sure I have to decline your request. I go outside back to my camera operator and I say, Manny, it looks like we're not getting on the field because we can't, we're not accredited. And I didn't send a letter in advance to him to give them a heads up who we are and to credit us, maybe check out our background and whatever. So we then go outside, and I happen to spot a guy that's got a media badge on, wearing around his neck. I said, hang on, man. I said, 1 second. I walk up this guy and I said, you see that guy over there? We're actually trying to get on the field, and we're trying to shoot the video of Maria Aragon singing Born This Way. That's all we want to do. We don't want to film the baseball game, nothing else. We just want to shoot the video because he knows the Aragon family. So do I. I also know other people that Maria knows, and I know of her. And we just want to shoot it, and maybe they might want to have it to showcase their part of their portfolio. So I talked to this guy about what our intentions are doing. I said, look, I'm a professional broadcaster, used to work on TV and radio before, da 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 da. And this guy's got professional equipment. We were inside, we were turned down because they don't know who we are, but we're legitimate. And we do know the Aragon family. This guy then said, just hang on for few minutes here, a few seconds. He steps away, he gets on the radio, he comes back and says, everything's been taken care of. I said, what do you mean everything's been taken care of? He said, go back the way you came and everything's okay. I said, really? He said, yeah, they're expecting you inside. We walk inside back to the same place we're at. They escort us out onto the field of the baseball game. And now I'm astounded again. I said, wow. I said, you see what just happened, Manny? You're about ready to give up. I don't always give up because it was a plan A, B, or C. And I went to plan C because plan B was talking to the media communication manager. That didn't work out. I go to plan C. I said, look, at plan C worked. We're on the field now. You set up your equipment now. You see the other people in the field. I see the free presses here, Global TV's here with their camera. Wow. I said, we got to get a picture of this. We did. I said, people never believe us that we were actually on the field with people looking down on us, and with our, me and the crew. At one point, he worked the camera, and I got a picture of me working the camera, and we took pictures of us. I said, I can't believe what's just happened, Manny. But you see what happens when you don't give up, and you think outside the box, and you say, no matter what. And we didn't do anything illegal either because we always ask for permission. So we were authorized. Even maybe the guy said, well, give these guys a break. They look like they're professionals. They got professional equipment. Nothing's going to go wrong because I can see these guys are not monkeying around. They're not hobbyists and idiots. So they got some pretty heavy duty equipment. So it might have been that the media communication manager talked to the guys. Look, I got a good sense about these guys. I don't think they're going to screw up, and I think they're good to go. And so maybe that's why they let us in. But regardless about the situation, we stayed on there for the singing of Born This Way. Then we further stayed on because there was more songs of the national anthem of Canada and the USA, and Manny happened to capture that too. I said, now what, Manny? He said, we're leaving. I said, that's it? We're done? He said, yeah, that's all I wanted. I got Born This Way. I've got the national anthem sung by the USA and Canada. We're leaving. We don't have to come back again. I think we were there for 20 minutes, and that was it. I said, Manny, do you realize what just happened? I can't believe it. I'm still like, is this a dream? I said, we were actually on the baseball field with other media filming Maria Aragon at the same time the other media was filming Maria Aragon and maybe filming the people there. So another incident that this happened too, where I also think outside the box, because I was working on our crew, came to me one day and said, I'm a volunteer at the Winnipeg Folk Festival. It's an annual folk festival, been running many years at Birdsall Park. And he says, I see an activity that they're doing at the folk festival that might interest you to come out and shoot a story about that. I said, well, okay. I said, who do I contact? And she gets me the contact person to contact. I said, but usually you have to apply for media passes way back in January or February if you want to have a media pass to get to the folk festival. And I said, well, I'll give it a shot. I'll present my organization and what our intentions are and what kind of crew I have. It doesn't hurt. It does not hurt to ask. You have to realize that. You don't say, oh, because they probably won't know me and I'm not major media, they wouldn't have taken interest in me. Don't have that attitude at all, because you never know. So I sent an email off to the media communication manager for the folk festival. She replies back and said, okay, yes, I know who you're talking about. I know that person. and you want to come out and shoot a story about an interactive art exhibit, you show up at Friday morning at 9 o'clock. I'll have 4 media passes waiting for you, day passes, because you said you got 4 in your crew. I said, yes, I'm bringing 4 people in my crew, including myself, and we'll escort you in the area that you want to go, and you can shoot the story. So it turned out we arrived at 9 o'clock in the morning. Our media pass are waiting there for us with our escort. He escorts us in the field, and he's a little bit confused because he doesn't really know exactly what we want to do. And he escorts to a stage. He said, oh, here we are. I said, excuse me, this looks like a musical stage here. We're not interviewing any musical artists. We're interviewing some people that are doing an interactive art exhibit for the Winnipeg Art Gallery. He said, oh, I know where that is. He said, oh, I thought you want to interview and film the stage shows. No, no, no. We want to do an interactive art exhibit. So he finally takes us to the area where the art exhibit is being built from scratch. And we're filming this all being built from scratch. And we cover the whole thing. But here's something. Because we were escorted in and we were media, but not major media, but we're still freelance media, there happened to be another guy that was at a CBC French TV station. And after this guy left us alone, he said, okay, I'll leave you guys to your filming. I've escorted you and stay in this area. Don't leave the area because, you know, you have to stay in the area. He spotted this guy at a French TV station with a camera. He said, excuse me, I see that you got a camera on you. Yeah, I'm with the French CBC media, but he said, you don't have an escort. You realize that all media must have an escort? And the guy probably thinking, well, I'm major media. I don't need an escort. He said, no, everybody that comes onto the grounds of the folk festival, the protocol is all media, no matter who it is, needs an escort. So our escort actually escorted this guy out back to the gate to say, okay, you have to come back in with an escort. You can't wander around on your own. And so I think, wow, look at that. We follow protocol to say we have an escort. We don't want to wander outside the escort area. And that guy got in trouble a little bit because he didn't follow protocol. So again, the credibility of our organization is good because we follow protocol. We stayed there for the entire day, 8 hours with our crew. We interviewed lots of different people that were doing amazing things of this project. And then in the end, I said, well, since we're on the grounds, I guess if anybody wants to stay for the concert in the evening, I don't see a problem because we're already here. They didn't say that once you get your project finished, you have to leave. They said, well, if you're done your project, you're already on the grounds, you've been cleared, you could stay. So some people did stay. I might have stayed for the concert in the evening. But you see, that shows you in my 2 examples with the baseball park and the folk festival that even though you don't have the right things in place, you don't give up. Because, well, I don't have a media pass, so how am I going to get on the grounds? And I don't want to pay for a big admission fee and whatever. And so it worked out, again, to my surprise and maybe to my crew's surprise. Barry, how did you do this? You got us 4 media passes. I've actually have a 3rd example to tell you, and then I'll move on. I wanted to go to the Red River one year, and I wanted to capture some special activities taking place. Again, I get on the website. I need to contact the media communication manager at Red River, and I want to come on your site and I want to do some filming. Is that okay? They come back to me and said, yes. How many passes do you need? I said, just a couple. I just got me and a cameraman, camera crew or assistant that was to come. They said, okay, show up at the gate and the pass will be waiting for you. I show up on the day that I'm saying I'm coming, and the pass are there, and I get access to the River X. And because I have a media pass now, I can go wherever I want to go. I always ask permission. I always tell people I'm not a paparazzi. I always ask permission when I interview people. So I was able to go 3 years in a row now to the Red River X, which is an annual festival fair exhibition that's held 10 days. I've actually know the CEO, the chief executive officer of the Red River X. I also know the media communication managers of the Red River X. So even though my organization is not some mega big corporation, because I position myself as a professional organization, following protocol, writing proper letters and emails, and giving them good credentials and good credibility, I can get access to these kind of events. And I'll tell you another one that happened with me that got me again. into high areas of media access was an event that's held in Winnipeg, Canada every year, as well as other cities, and it's called Comic Con. Comic Con stands for a comic book convention. It was a few years ago that I decided I would like to see if I get media access to go interview Hollywood stars of major Hollywood motion pictures with superstars. Movies like Star Trek, Star Wars, Superman, all those different ones, and even TV series too. Supergirl, whatever, the A Team, Batman, whatever. So I apply to say I would like to apply for media access pass because I got an organization that were professional and I got people that want to learn the art of video production. My organization mentors people. We teach them and coach them on how to do a proper job. So I got this gal that was a very shy person that was wanting to be a film director from a high school in the city, and she contacted me, possibly on my Kijiji ad, and said, I see that you're looking for people to work on a crew. I'm an aspiring film director. I'm in high school grade 11, but I'd like to work with you. I said, okay. So we're going to go to an event called Comic-Con. And here's a suggestion for you. Because you said you're in high school, what I do and what I teach people to do, I teach them the art of networking. Networking is very important. It's important in all fields. So I said, is there any chance you can produce some business cards with your name and phone number and email and some basic skills that you have? Because if you done a little bit of acting in school, whatever, put that on the card. She meets me on the day of the event and she has a whole bunch of double-sided laminated cards. I'm very impressed because I said, wow, I didn't expect to go that far to make double-sided laminated cards, but she did. So the name of her school on there, the skill set she has, what she aspires to be, a film director, whatever, writer, whatever she want to do, on the back, her contact information. I said, okay, so we are now going to go into Comic-Con and you're going to work the camera. I'm going to meet the people. Let's say, my name is Barry Kopulos. I'm with the Maximum Multimedia Foundation. This is Katerina Mamula. She's an aspiring film director. She's going to work the camera, and I'm going to interview people. And so I actually got to meet some very powerful celebrities, such as people that had worked on a talk show with Ellen DeGeneres, another lady that worked on Star Wars, another fellow that worked in the A-Team, Batman, and a whole bunch of other people. And we actually filmed them talking. They did a 20-minute speech about their career. We captured it on camera. We got photographs of Hollywood stars that was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and they were on a show called the Ellen TV Talk Show, and they were on another one called the Fantastic Four team. And I couldn't believe that when I said, I'm with the Manchester Multimedia Foundation, I would just like to interview you about your career, how you got involved in movies or TV shows. And it turned out that I said, well, could I finish my sandwich first? I'd be happy to talk to you. So in the end, I got the most wonderful interview with this particular lady. The name will come to me shortly. And she was just the most amazing. Her name was Rebecca Staub. And I said, Rebecca, I said, I want to ask you some questions, and I'm not trying to catch you off guard, but I just want to find out, how to get involved in movies. It turned out that she was a model to begin with, and then she explained her little bit life story, and she was from Nebraska, so she had a cute Nebraskan accent, and we talked for about 20 minutes. We talked about, have you visited anything in Winnipeg yet? Oh yeah, I've been to the place called the Forks over there with the water. I said, great, that's a great place to go. And she talked to me, she loves Winnipeg. I thanked her after for the interview, and I went on to interview another lady that was in the Star Wars. She played a character in the Star Wars movie. She was a model from Morocco, and her name will come to me too. And then I also got to meet another fellow. Now, this is a very interesting experience because it taught me about if you want to interview somebody, you got to say their name properly. It turned out that the person I was about to interview, and again, I said, who do I talk to? The publicity manager of this famous Hollywood actor, or do I talk to him? I said, you talk to the publicity manager first, and the publicity manager said, okay, if you want to interview this particular Hollywood actor, you go to him, because you got my permission now, and you say, look, I'd like to conduct a little interview with you. My name is Barry Kopulos. I'm the president, executive producer of the Manitoba Multimedia Foundation, and I'd like to interview you. And so this fellow, I didn't realize at the time, but I know now, it turned out that he was deaf. And he said these words, if you want to interview me, you must say my name correctly. I said, really, how hard can that be? You know, like your name is Jim Smith, it's Jim Smith. But his name was Lou Ferrigno. And he said, you have to say my name correctly. Lou is correct, but the last name you got to get it correct, because otherwise they won't let you interview me. And I rehearsed a few times, and when I finally got the Ferrigno in there, he said, yes, now you said my name correctly. And he actually did say, I'm deaf, and that's why I wanted to say my name correctly. Lou Ferrigno. It turned out that this guy, this Hollywood actor, has played the Incredible Hulk in many movies. He actually worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger, former governor of California. Wow, high profile Hollywood actor. His name is well known in movies. Lou Ferrigno. He's well known. So he gave me the, after I did the interview, we talked about his movie working with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Pumping Iron, how he got involved in movies and all that stuff. And after the end was over, we did about 1 or 2 minute interview. He gave me the vice grip handshake because he's a bodybuilder. I had to be careful of my hand because he could have squashed it because he's very strong. And I said, thank you, Mr. Lou Ferrigno, for the interview. And I moved on. Now, one thing I also said to other people I approached at Comic-Con, I always asked them for permission. I said, do I have your permission to interview you on camera? And if you say no, I'll just move on. And some people did decline. They say, I'm declining. No, I don't wish to be interviewed. I said, fine. And I actually said, we are not like the paparazzi in Hollywood. If you're saying no, I'm not going to pretend and monkey around with you and turn the camera on without you knowing about it. I'm just going to move on. I said, we're not like the paparazzi in Hollywood. We know about protocol. We don't want to be categorized as paparazzis. We are professional people and we know about protocol. So in the event of Comic-Con, I probably interviewed about a dozen people, including exhibitors of works of art, comic books, videos, and a whole bunch of other things. And everywhere we went, my associate, Katerina, gave out her cards. And at one particular event, or one particular part of the event, I said, you know, I see on stage now somebody very, very interesting. It is Adam West that plays the mayor, and I believe the movie is called The Family Guy. And also, he was in a TV series called Batman. I want you, Katerina, to go give your card or offer your business card to him. And she's like, wow, really? I said, yes, don't be afraid of him. He's just a person. He may be a big Hollywood star and Adam West is known all over the world, but he's just a person, right? And so she got in line. And when she got up there, I heard Adam West say, I see that you got a business card in your hand. She said, well, I'm an aspiring film director. I'm just trying to network with people. That's what this fellow down there is telling me. I need to network with people, talk to them. I want to be a film director. I want to do movies, TV shows, whatever. And so I'm offering a card. So he took the card. And then after it was all done, she comes back to me and said, you know that Adam West autographed my business card? I said, you got an autograph from Adam West on your laminated business card? I said, well, that's an honor. Do you realize, Katerina, that everybody else wants a photograph of Adam West? Or they just want his autograph on some t-shirt or whatever? But you, Katerina Mamula, aspiring film director, walks up to him with your business card. He autographs it. I hope you give him the second card. Hope she did. And I said, so you stood out of all the people in line. Nobody else in line, without me knowing for sure, said, I am an aspiring TV director. I want to do a TV show or whatever. And I'd like you to sign my card. I don't think she even asked to sign the card. He probably just took it and said, gee, I'll just sign your card here. I'm Adam West, AW. And I actually took a picture of it too. I said, I got to take a picture of this because Adam West signed your business card. Hope we don't throw this card away. That's a big deal. Because if you gave him a second card, he's going to take it back to his home in Hollywood and talk to his people. He said, you know what, when I was in Winnipeg, this blonde, cute lady came up to me. She's the only one that came up to me and said, my name is Katerina Mamula. At least I hope she said that. I'm an aspiring film director, and here's my business card. He said, of all the people I talked to in Winnipeg, nobody else did that. Only Katerina did it. And it was Barry Kopulos that coached her on what to do. So then after this all happened, I was looking around at different things in the Comic-Con event, and I happened to spot a table with Batman cookies. I said, wow, here's another thing that Katerina can do. She can, I'm going to buy this Batman cookie or a couple of them, and I'm going to give it to Katerina. And I wanted to go back up there again, and I wanted to give the cookie to Adam West. He'll get a kick out of it. And she gets in line again, and then Adam West said, oh, there's that cute lady in line again. She saw me already. I wonder what she's got come to see me a second time for. Because he spotted her. She's a very attractive Serbian gal, 16 years old. And so she gets in line again, and I hear this now, and he says, got a Batman cookie to give me. And he pulls out a basket. He said, I've got lots of other Batman cookies, but sure, I'll take your cookie from you. And he took the cookie from her. And I said, Katerina, you see what happened again? He now's remembered you from the first visit that you took. Because you gave him the card, he autographed it. Hope you gave him the second business card. Now you went up a second time. There's no rule say you can't go up a second time, right? For a visit. Got in line again. He spotted you. Where's that girl again? She's back in line again. Why is she coming to visit me for a second time? Because I want to give you a Batman cookie. It's got Batman on it. I just want to give it to you. Maybe you want to take it back to Hollywood, California. Don't eat it. Just take it back. And say, gee, I met a gal twice at an event, and she came twice to visit me. First time for the business card, and second time to give me a Batman cookie. Do you think that that person remembered very well by Adam West? I think so. Because she did something that nobody else did. Gave a business card first, and then give a Batman cookie second. And even though other people gave him Batman cookies, the fact that she gave a business card, nobody else gave a business card with a Batman cookie, but she gave a Batman cookie and the business card. So then she proceeded to go to people like from the A-Team movie, Julie Newmar that played Catwoman and Batman. And there was one more person that she gave cookies to. And one of the guys, I think it was that played Dirk Benedict from the A-Team. So after she gives the A-Team cookie to him, because there were A-Team cookies over there too, he opens up a box and said, I've got a whole box full of A-Team cookies. I need more cookies. He said, but take my cookies. Oh, I'd definitely take your cookie because she's a cute girl, right? Well, I'm not going to turn down a cookie. So he put it in the box. But I got a kick out when I heard that. He said, oh, I've already got a box of A-Team cookies. You're bringing me another cookie? I'll just add to my collection. So she got to meet Dirk Benedict and Julie Newmar and Adam West. And you see, the point of my whole story here is think outside the box, think outside your comfort zone, and do things you would never, ever think you would do. To this date, actually last year, I got to shake hands with none other than your Right Honorable Royalty Prince Charles of London, England. I got to meet him and shake his hand, and there was a lot of people around to meet and greet him. And I finally said, gee, I would love to shake hands with royalty one day. I've actually met the Queen, took pictures many times, and I got to see Princess Anne a few years ago. Well, back in the 90s when I volunteered for the Pan Am Games, I actually got to have a walk pass by Princess Anne and royalty. I go, wow. We were actually volunteers at the Pan Am Games and said, come with us. I go, we got a special treat for you. He said, what is it? Well, come with us, you'll see. And he said, stand in line now. Okay, we're all in the line. That's okay. Just wait here. And all of a sudden, we saw, looked like very important people coming by and said, these are royalty people. I said, who are they? This is Princess Anne from London, England. Wow. We get to walk by and Princess Anne, we get to take her photograph? Yeah. If you brought your camera with you, take a photograph of her. Said, wow. Isn't that an honor? Again, that's a life experience. How many people get to be within 12 inches or a foot of royalty? Not many people. We were cleared, obviously, So there's no gate between us and royalty. I could have reached on my arm and actually touched her shoulder very easily. So those are kind of things I've done over the years. And because I found out that I have a passion for working in media and film, I have a passion for sharing the knowledge I have and my experience with other people so I can get them the same level I'm at, to say, I want you to experience what I experienced, and follow me, because I didn't get hurt at any point. I sure got some great life experience over 60 years of life experiences, which I intend to put into a documentary of my life story and a book at some point, because I'm going to be working on that. But people said, you leave a vast life. I said, but you realize one thing: I am not wealthy, I'm not a millionaire. I just step outside my comfort zone and think outside the box and do things that nobody else does. I actually got to meet the Prime Minister of Canada, but before I became Prime Minister, he was a national Liberal leader of Canada. I walked up to him and said, Justin Trudeau. I said, I know who you are. I remember your dad, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. I would like to get a picture with you. I know you like taking photographs of people. Do you mind if I get a picture with you? I actually met him at the Israel Pavilion in Fokorama last year, before he became Prime Minister in October last year. He said, sure. He gives my camera to his assistant, said, take a picture of this. What's your name? Barry. Take a picture of Barry and me together. Guess what happened that Christmas of last year? I get a special card in the mail. I said, where's this card coming from? I open it up, it's from Prime Minister Trudeau. I said, my God, the Prime Minister sent me a special Christmas card. Wow. How many people get a Christmas card from the Prime Minister? Not many. I said, he doesn't even know that I'm a Liberal supporter or not. But the fact that because I met him at the Fulcrum Pavilion, he remembered me, and we must have made a connection somehow. And he said, I'm going to send this guy, Barry Kopulos, a Christmas card signed by me with my whole family on it. I said, wow. And I framed the card because I'm not going to throw it away. His family's on one side and he signed it. I said, wow, that is amazing. I have got, the only time in my life, a Christmas card from the Prime Minister of our country. I was very proud when he became Prime Minister, because he's a son of a major. His father was Prime Minister, who now passed away. So again, some people say, oh, I can't go up to that person because he looks important and he wouldn't want to take a picture with me. Well, don't think that way. He will take a picture with anybody. He's a selfie king of Canada. He's probably done more things with social media and getting people to step outside their comfort zone than the Prime Minister in Canada, because he does things that no other Prime Minister done. He's a very young person. And maybe one day I'll get to meet his family if he visits here. So that's another thing that happened to me. And I've actually even met the premiers of our province. I've actually met the premiers one-on-one, face-to-face. I've got their photographs. They know me every year. They say, hi, Barry, how you doing again? What's new with you? I'm almost on a first-name basis. I don't call the premier, your right honorable Premier Brian Pallister. I might just call him Brian. I actually am on first-name basis with our mayor of Winnipeg. I became an ambassador in the last few months. I decided to take on the role of ambassador, and I met our mayor, Brian Bowman. I said, Brian, and he didn't mind me calling him Brian because we know each other quite well. He didn't say, oh, you can't call me Brian. You have to call me your worship, right honorable, your worship, Mayor Brian Bowman. I just call him Brian. He calls me Barry because I know the whole family. So I say to him at this Canada Living Flag Day, I say, Brian, I am an ambassador for the city of Winnipeg. And he probably said, we're all ambassadors. I said, no, you don't understand, Brian. I am representing Winnipeg, and I'm giving out Winnipeg pins to special visitors that I meet or important people. And he probably thinks, wow, that's nice that you're doing that for me. And so I go to an event actually about a month ago right now. It's at the convention center. There's 1,000 people that are there. It's called the Get Motivated Seminar. They bring in 12 speakers. One of them is Lou Ferrigno again. He's on stage. But before the event starts, I say to myself, I've got to go find the person in charge of this event because I'm an ambassador for Mayor Brian Bowman and I want to give them Winnipeg pins. So I see this guy looks official. I said, I'm looking for the person in charge of this event because I'm an ambassador. I'm saying it with quite conviction for the Mayor Brian Bowman of Winnipeg, and I want to give out some Winnipeg pins to welcome people to Winnipeg. And so they say, okay, I'll go find the person for you. They say, go to that corner over there, and I'll go get you somebody. A lady comes out, said, I am Lisa, and I'm the speaker's representative for this Get Motivated seminar. I understand that you want to give out some pins. I say, yes. I actually ask where she's from. She's from Alabama. I say, oh, you got a cute accent, whatever. And again, I say, I am the ambassador for Mayor Brian Bowman of Winnipeg, and I would like to give you 8 pins that you only get from City Hall. Nowhere else. You can't buy these pins. They come from City Hall. But I know Mayor Brian Bowman very well, and I told Brian every time I meet special guests, I want to give them some pins. So I give her all the pins. I give her my card. This is my organization, and I'm a freelance media journalist, but I'm also ambassador for Mayor Brian Bowman. And I give the pins to her. I walk back to my seat. They say, we're about to start the event. And I sit down in my seat. And then the guy comes on stage, and he's a comic guy, and he starts joking around. And then at some point, he says, okay, now we have a very special guest to start the show off with now, the event, the seminar event. And I think, well, who could it be? He said, you're not going to believe this person. And I think, who could this be? You say it's a very special VIP guest. Wow. I know we're going to have 12 seminar speakers, but who is this guy? And so the guy puts up on the screen, a big monitor screen, on the left side of the stage, the presidential seal. I said, oh my God, I see the President of the United States seal there. Huh. Could it be a President Obama that you're bringing on stage? That we're going to see the president live in person? Who knows, right? And so they start playing the anthem now. Da, 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 the U.S. anthem, you know, how they bring the president on stage. And out walks none other than the former president of the United States, George W. Bush. I said, oh my God, that looks like George W. Bush. It looks like him. Can it be? Can it be George W. Bush? He starts talking. He starts talking about politics in the United States and this and that. And he does a little monologue and starts joking around about Donald Trump and all that stuff. And then finally he says, now, I understand that there's a fellow in the audience that's the ambassador to Mayor Brian Bowman, and his name is Barry Kopulos. What? George W. Bush just mentioned my name on stage? And I said, wait, talking about me, I better stand up and acknowledge, right? Hi, Mr. President. It's Barry Kopulos. Here I am. I'm over here. He said, well, I understand that you're the ambassador Mayor Brian Bowman. I said, yes, I am. So he did a little monologue, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. George W. Bush just announced me in front of 1,000 people to say, I am the ambassador for Mayor Brian Bowman. Even though in official capacity, but unofficial capacity, I'm just playing the role of ambassador. So I think, holy smokes, everybody in the audience heard my name mentioned. That's quite powerful. Because they say, how did that guy's name get mentioned? How did he get to be mentioned? The guy didn't put me on stage, thank God, but he just mentioned my name. That was good enough. So eventually I met Brian Bowman at another event a few weeks ago where we're having the Canada Summer Games, the 50th anniversary next year in the summer. I walk up to Brian. I say, Brian, you'll never guess what happened. I was at an event at the convention center, and there was 1,000 people there, and I gave a bunch of your Winnipeg pins to a lady named Lisa, and the next thing you know, this guy that looks like George W. Bush announces me, Barry Kopulos, as the ambassador to Mayor Brian Bowman, and everybody heard it at the seminar. I said, you can't believe it. I said, holy smokes, that's amazing. And I said, well, I told you I'm an ambassador for you Mayor Brian Bowman, right? And I'm giving out pins. And he probably thought, wow. And I actually talked to his assistant, the Kenny Boyce, which is a film coordinator for all movies that are shot in Winnipeg. And he said, Barry, I actually told him first, he said, Barry, if you did that, I'm going to get you half hour time with Brian Bowman. Because he wants to know the story. Like, how did you get your name mentioned to this guy's playing George W. Bush. It turned out in the end that the guy that's played George W. Bush was actually a very sharp, well, identical impressionist of George W. Bush. His real name was John W. Morgan. He's identical, almost twin to George W. Bush, and he played him up to the T. He had all the motions, all the movements, all the hand motions, the voice moves, everything down to talk like George W. Bush. And I don't know if the guy was on Saturday Night Live or not, but I was astounded. And then he said after, he said, and by the way, not the real George W. Bush. I've actually met George W. Bush in person. Don't know if he met him, played as George W. Bush, where they're together now. And the wife said, who's who now? Are you the real George W. Bush? Or are you the real George W. Bush? Because you look identical, right? And so he said, I actually got to meet the real George W. Bush at a golf tournament. He likes to play golf, and he really gets a kick out of me playing him. I said, wow. And after his talk was over, he goes off stage after he does all his comedy routine and then says that if you want a picture with me, I'll be happy to take a picture. Well, I didn't get a picture with him, but I got a picture of him on stage. We're allowed to take a lot of unlimited photographs, but no video there at this event. But it turns out that my friend, Ken, got a picture with this guy, George W. Bush, another lady maybe playing Barbara Bush, and a photograph with my friend and his wife, and John W. Morgan playing George W. Bush with another lady that was playing Barbara Bush in a photograph. I think, wow. And then he emails me the picture. I said, holy smokes, you got a picture with George W. Bush, aka John W. Morgan. Wow. So you see, just in the time I've been talking to you for about an hour, you can see that even though I was born on a small farming community in Alberta, about a 2,000 population, I was isolated from the city because I decided that I wanted to think outside the box and go to Calgary and get exposed to city life. And I'm not afraid to say, well, I don't know if I could survive in Calgary. It's a big city. Am I going to not live? I'm going to get clobbered or whatever, attacked or whatever. I didn't take that attitude. It turned out I found even a place across from the school, which I lived in for all the time I went to grade 11 and 12 in Calgary. And I'm going to tell you a comment that this landlady made, and I'll never forget it. And I wish I could go back to her and say, you remember that comment you told me, and it's clear in my mind, but I didn't let that overtake my life whatsoever. But I remember when you made the comment, and you said to me one day, you said, Barry, you are a shy boy, and because you are shy, you're going to be shy for the rest of your life. If I would have took that comment to heart and put that in my head and let it roll around, Barry, you're shy, you're shy, you're shy. You can't talk to anybody, you're shy. You don't talk to strangers, you're shy, you're shy, you're shy. I would be shy for the rest of my life. But I tell you what, because I stepped outside my comfort zone when I moved to Winnipeg and I went on a journey of 16-hour trip with a total stranger that brought me here. I end up with my uncle. I'm in a city that I don't have any idea what goes on in Winnipeg because I've only been here for just visits, and I gotta survive now. Do you have a new city? I gotta feel my way around. If I would have thought the opposite, oh, I can't go to a new city because I probably won't survive and I'll probably get killed or attacked or whatever will happen to me. If I would have thought that way, I wouldn't be at the point in my life I'm at today. So that's a little bit about my story. Oh, and one last thing too. I'm going to tell you one last thing. I mentioned about networking early in my broadcast. Don't ever let an opportunity pass by when somebody says, I want you to meet somebody. So well, I don't know who that person is. So how can I meet them? I may be afraid of them. Well, what if there's somebody important and they can help you out? So I'm going to give you a little bit of a story how I got my current job, which I work at now. And again, think outside the box. I like to go to places where I can meet people, have some fun, have some food, and mix and mingle with people. And so one day, I've been invited to a Christmas party a few years ago, and it turns out to be an Aboriginal Chamber of Commerce Christmas party. And even if it's Aboriginal Chamber of Commerce, I was invited. I go there to this Christmas party, and I start talking around because you always say, well, what do you do? Where do you work? And whatever. And so I start to mix and mingle with people, say, You know, I work in the film and the media department. I do movies. I work in media. I do stories about documentary stories and all this stuff. And I eventually I meet this one particular lady, or this one particular lady, Aboriginal lady, it turned out to be. I said, "Oh," I said, "I'm just asking people around, what do you do?" And she all of a sudden says, "My name is Bernice Smiley, and I work for Metropolitan Lotteries." I said, "You do? Really?" I said, "I've been trying to get a job with your company for many years." She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I want to work in hospitality. I've already worked many places at customer service. I work in the film industry and media industry and a whole bunch of industries. I'd be perfect for that company." This lady then says, "Card out of my purse, and I want you to send me your resume directly to me." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, I'm the HR manager for the Aboriginal division of Metropolitan Lotteries." I said, "Really?" I said, "Definitely." I go home, I'm excited, right? I said, "Oh my God, I have a great opportunity here to get a job, maybe get a job with a company." And I just met the HR manager high up in the company that says, "Send me your resume and I'll deal with it." So I sent her my resume. The next day I get a phone call. "This is Mount Liquor Lotteries calling. We got your resume I'm looking at your resume right now, and it looks pretty impressive. I understand that you were talking with this lady named Bernice Smiley, and she sent resume over to me. I'm the recruiting person for Mount Liquor Lotteries. Can you come in for an interview next week? We reviewed your resume. We think you're a good qualified candidate." I said, "Yes, name the place and time and I'll be there. How about next Wednesday at 1 o'clock at McPhillips Casino?" I said, "I'll be there. 1 o'clock, I'll be there." I arrived there and I'm interviewed by two ladies named Rhonda and Jamie. And they interviewed me, and I've got a good feeling about this because, geez, I'm pumped. Geez, I got a good referral from the HR manager. Now I got these two ladies interviewing me. And by the time the interview was over, I had an 85 to 90% feeling in my mind that I said all the right things. I did all the right emotions. I gave all the right passion, how I really want to work for Manitoba Liquor Lotteries. If you hire me, you're not going to be disappointed in me. So a week goes by, and finally I get a phone call that said, "Okay, Barry, we've come to the conclusion that we would like to go forward. If you'd like to go forward with us, and the next step is to a background check. Would you like us to move forward?" I said, "Absolutely. Whatever we're going to move forward on, move forward." So it was by the time the end of January, about 2013, I believe, that I was actually hired by the company. They said, "There's one final thing you need to do. You need to come to us because we're going to give you a package of documents and we're going to give you an offer to sign with our company." I said, "Well, just tell me the name and place. I'll be there. I will sign." And so in a very short span of time from December of 2012 to the 2013 January, I was hired as a casual worker for Manitoba Lotteries. I'll tell you one final thing now. Again, because I think outside the box, this company has been liking me a lot because I'm never late, I'm always on time, and I don't monkey around my job. If I'm told what to do, I do it. I don't complain. I don't whine. So they have this program that said we have a new chief executive officer of the company, and anybody in the company can sign up to have lunch with a chief executive officer. I said, "Oh my God, I already met this guy." I actually went out to a meeting a few years ago, and I actually got to meet the current chief executive officer, the top guy at the top spot in the company of Manitoba Liquor Lotteries. To him, I said, and I call him John. I'm not sure if I could still call him Mr. Stintz. It sounds too formal. I'm almost 60. He might be in his 60s too. I say, "John," I say, "I see you're taking pictures with people here. Do you mind if I get a picture with you? I'm actually an employee of your company." He said, "What department do you work in?" I said, "I work in food and beverage, and I do concerts." I said, oh, okay. He said, sure. So he gives the camera to his assistant and said, take a picture of this guy named Barry. What's your name? Barry. He works in food and beverage, and he takes a picture with me. Okay, so I get a photograph of me. Oh, wow, I got a picture with the chief executive officer of Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries. And now, what's the next thing we're going to do? I say, I wonder if he's actually on LinkedIn. Because I got a picture of him now. I met him. He knows who I am. He knows my name and everything. I'm going to go search him out on LinkedIn. I searched for John Stintz on LinkedIn. Wow, he's on LinkedIn. Geez, I wonder if I connect with him. I'll send a message. John, me and you met at the AGM meeting at Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries, and we got a photograph together. I go away for a few hours to come back and said, connection accepted. I said, my God, I'm connected with John Stinson, the chief executive officer of the company I work for. Wow. Amazing. So you can see taken from being a little old farm boy in Alberta to meeting royalty, premiers, prime ministers, national leaders. I've even met Olympic gold medalists along my journey too. I have done everything I could possibly do to meet people of all people. And I'll give you a statistic about Winnipeg, Canada. I learned this from the courses I took at a place called MTech in Winnipeg. And my diversity culture taught us this fact. Fact. Winnipeg is the only city in Canada, in North America, Canada, North America, that has one or more people that live here from every single country in the world. You name any country in the world, and you're bound to find somebody from that very country that you state that live here. I live in an area called Central Park, and we probably at least have 40 cultures I know of in our area alone. So that's my story.